Hey everyone, this is Stacy with SF Johnson Family and Community Services. And in this presentation, we are going to give some information on building self-esteem in minority children. It is very important, needless to say, at this time. And if you don't know what we do, we are a family-owned community service where it's free to the public, and we focus our efforts on building black families and helping black children and children of color. I say black, but really all children of color. And I don't try to be shy or be naive about what's going on in our country. So our job here at SF Johnson Family and Community Services is to provide information and some guidance and to help empower families in a variety of ways. I was always taught to be proud to be an African American, and over the years I see that there is no focus on teaching black children about our heritage, our strengths, even our weaknesses. It's just about perceived weaknesses. And so what we want to do in this presentation is to give some information to families to help them use these tips and understand how we build self-esteem for children. And so we're going to break this presentation most likely down in a variety of parts because there is a lot of information. Okay, and so when we talk about self-esteem, we talk about the sources of self-esteem. Where does it come from? Most importantly, it comes from understanding and respecting and knowing the power and everything regarding your heredity, your heritage, and that is the key and the problem in the black community. We don't make this country, make our teachers, make our anything value a black experience. And so heredity, that's the most important, and it's very important, it's vital for black families to make sure you emphasize, you have a plan to study African American studies, learn about Africa, learn about all of our leaders, not just Martin Luther King and even Malcolm X and Black Panthers. There were so many, but those are very important because in 1968, things changed for us. It changed for us in a variety of ways. We lost a lot of leaders. This country began a program to help, but then immediately all of that was taken away. And so it's vital, it's very important that you as a family study your African American heritage. Okay, and so in terms of self-esteem, that's number one. The biggest source of self-esteem for you and for your children will be how much you understand your African American culture. Other contributors to self-esteem, the school and the neighborhood, and two, as an African American child in a public school system, that's not helpful either. And so we at SF Johnson Family and Community Services, we hope that you will not only listen to these presentations, but to visit our website at sfjfamilyservices.org and join a program. And we are ready to help those that want to be helped. Okay, so school and neighborhood. Okay, so self-esteem in minority children. When you live in a impoverished neighborhood, and you don't have the things that most kids do, and you go to a public school, you're subjected to prejudice from both the adults and peers. And so I want you to think, when you're dealing with your child in a public school system, and a lot of the schools don't think in these ways, you want your kid to stand out in a leadership kind of way. Leaders are often don't even know that they're leaders until something really good happens or something really bad happens. Okay, and so you have to teach your child, regardless of income level, that you have to maintain and you have to be and you have to hold yourself within a certain standard. You have to think in a certain way because, sorry to say, in 2023, even the teachers may be against your kid in a public school setting. Okay, so when we talk about self-esteem in minority children, it's vital that we start with understanding, appreciating the African American experience, history, and even what's going on right now. We don't see people even in our government fighting for our rights like we see other people fighting, so that's even more difficult when your kid goes to school and he has to learn about stuff. And we don't see people fighting for us. When someone fights for you, then that means you're valuable to them. Okay, and so when we talk about building self-esteem in minority children, it comes from you helping your child to understand that their Black experience made them strong, made them resilient, and somehow you've got to set by example, really, of what is expected out of an African American human in this country today. This country's not going to survive unless African Americans stand up. We see that every time it's time to vote. It's the Black people that bring the winner over, but then the winner does absolutely nothing for us. And so we have to understand that if we are to do better, it's going to take Black people getting together, doing better first at home, and teaching their children and teaching themselves, and understanding that being ignorant has never been good, and it just hurts us. It doesn't hurt anybody else, it just hurts us. Okay, so when we think about building self-esteem in minority children, you want to think first of the things that affect them first. Their heredity. White supremacists. Okay, that right there says it all for that type of kid. Okay, so you have to find a way to build that self-esteem into your own child, and you can only do that when you understand how the strength of those African genes is just really that simple. You have to understand that there are other contributors to the self-esteem of your child throughout the day. It's the school, it's the adults at the school, it's people, it's the kids in their classroom. And so you have to find a way to set your child apart on a daily basis by giving them that talk of, like my parents gave me, like I gave my sons, like I give my grandchildren. This world has a certain perception of you. It's unfortunate, but it is true. And you have to understand where you come from in order to understand where you're going. A lot of our Black children don't have the slightest idea of the strength and the power that got them here today, got their grandparents through, got their parents through. And so in the only way to build self-esteem in a Black child today, with all the things that they have to deal with, you need to get on that Black history, understanding your history. Understanding critical race theory is just, it's the Willie Horton, if you're that old, of 2023. It's their fear that if we ever understood who we really are, who we really were, what we really had to go through to be here today, we wouldn't be messing around with them. Whites can go home at the end of every day and still be white and not have to wake up and deal with the prejudices trying to take their votes away, or killing their sons, they can go home at the end of every day and be happy and white, watch shows, watch TV, do everything they want to do. But they don't have to deal with what we have to deal with. Getting rights taken away, getting votes taken away, having our children stigmatized in one way or another as soon as they get in a public school. So in order to build self-esteem in your black child, you need some structure in that home that's going to consistently build that pride of being black. You have to set an example by what you do every day. So I hope this was helpful. There's so much more to it. We have a program that we would love for black families to sign up for, where we go in depth and have workshops here in Sacramento at our office now downtown, or we can also do them live and online. But please, if we're going to be here in 20 more years, we need a big reset. We need the reset that we got in 1964. Between 1964 and 1968, once all leaders were pretty much dead, all dead, we got a reset. But then Nixon said no. And then we got Reagan, right? And all of that. We got Nixon, we got his dude once he was, we got a whole bunch of Republicans that made sure anything we got in 1964 was taken away and made worse. And then we got crack. So, no other race people have had to deal with what we have to deal with and have survived. So now they've got fentanyl programs, they've got all these programs. Hey, we made it through crack and we made it through rap. But we'll leave that for another discussion. This is Stacy Johnson, the Director of SF Johnson Family and Community Services. Please visit our website at sfjfamilyservices.org. Fridays are Malcolm X Fridays. Join the program. Join us today. Join us forever. We'll talk to you soon.